Hi, I'm David Luck. I'm the archivist at Bethlem Museum of the Mind, which also means I'm the archivist for the South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust. And in this video we're going to be looking at a few items within the archive that tell us a bit about the history of the Maudsley. In this time it's going to be when the Maudsley opens to the public in 1923. We are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Maudsley, and so we're celebrating it from this date, when it actually opened as a functioning public hospital. The main personality who ran the Maudsley Hospital between the interwar years, between the First World War and the Second World War, was a man called Edward Mapother. Now, Mapother realised when he came into the hospital that the Maudsley couldn't just function like a standard British psychiatric hospital. It was designed to take in patients and to treat them as quickly as possible. It was designed to deal with problems as soon as they arose, and it wasn't designed to look after patients in a long-stay residential facility, unlike the rest of the county asylum network. So Mapother basically tried a whole lot of different things to try and get treatment going. He employed lots of really interesting people. He employed lots of new different psychiatric methods, and his aim was to get results quickly, to try new things. In our records we see him trying things like gland therapy. We also see him trying new talking therapies. One of his major hires, who also joined the hospital when it opened in 1923, was a lady psychiatrist, Dr. Mary Barkus, who was one of the very few female British psychiatrists at the time. She was also a trained psychoanalyst. She had gone to Vienna and she'd received Freudian psychoanalysis under one of Freud's own acolytes. And though Mapother didn't necessarily believe in psychoanalysts, or at least didn't really believe in Freud's ideas, he knew that he had to try lots of different things, and so he employed Mary and gave her the power to take on treatment as she thought best. Now, as time wore on, one of the major things that Mapother did in the interwar years was he actually took on 3 German Jewish emigre psychiatrists through a placement arranged with funding via the Rockefeller Trust. This meant he was able to get 3 prominent Jewish psychiatrists out of Germany before the Nazis came to power in 1933. This was an altruistic move. Mapother really didn't have an awful lot of truck with Hitler, from what I could make out, but it was also a move that infused new experience and new expertise into the Maudsley as well, and it really pushed the Maudsley on in terms of its place in British psychiatry. These 3 psychiatrists, Willie Meyer-Gross, Eric Gutmann and Alfred Mayer, were very respected in their own field, and certainly Meyer-Gross and Eric Gutmann were very fondly regarded by the students they took on in the Maudsley. Gutmann comes across as very much a fatherly figure to a whole host of British psychiatrists. Sadly, Eric Gutmann died young in 1948, but Willie Meyer-Gross went on to have a long and illustrious career in British psychiatry. After the Maudsley, he went on to run the Crichton Hospital up in Dumfries, and he wrote one of the definitive textbooks of British psychiatry just after the Second World War finishes. In one of the items we have here, we have a large collection of Willie Meyer-Gross's papers. We see one of his scrapbooks from the 1930s, in this case 1938, and we can see how concerned he was with what was going on in his own home country of Germany. This scrapbook is full of newspaper cuttings detailing Hitler's rise to power and the persecution of both the Jews and other peoples inside of Germany as well. Had Mapother not got these people out, it's almost certain that, well, certainly Meyer-Gross and Meyer would have been targeted by Hitler and the Nazis.